Namaste and good morning, everyone. Let's start our Wednesday class with some prayers. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parbrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha, Om Bhurbhavasvaha, Tatsavitra Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayat, Asto Ma Sadgamya, Tamso Ma Jyotirgamya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamya, Om Sahnavavtu, Sahnobhunaktu, Saviryam Karvavai, Tejasvi Navadhitamastu, Ma Vidveshavai, Om Shanti 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 Om. Very often we talk about positive thinking. We got to keep the goal in mind. Why do we want to have our thoughts positive? What is the goal? If you put some thoughts into it, you will see that the highest form of positive thinking is allowing our mind to flow towards God. Okay, because God is nothing but positive, nothing but bliss, happiness. So whether you want to use the word God or Ishwar or Absolute or Brahma, doesn't matter. That absolute reality. So remember, it is the Godward flow of the mind that is the goal of positive thinking. Godward flow. Whenever our mind flows towards the Prakriti, often it goes into the negativity. But if it flows towards God, it will be positive. So God is the target of positive thoughts. So if you are training your mind to have positive thoughts and you do not have the goal of God realization before you, your efforts to maintain positive thinking will result in failure. Remember that. So in today's talk, I'm going to just give some hints about how to think positively. What is the source of our thoughts? What do we call positive thoughts? And what is the power of positive thoughts? And at the same time, the destructive effects of negative thinking. Because when we know that negative thoughts are so harmful, we'll definitely make an effort to make them positive. And at the end, I'll give you some instructions for positive thinking also. The very first statement I would like to make that there is no power greater than thought. For us, sure, God is greater, the greatest. But when we talk about anything in the Prakriti, by the force of thought, we can shape our personality and we can mold our destiny. That is the power. Thought is the basis of all karmic formations. Because thoughts underlie all the actions. Thought is the root cause of all physical and mental development. And at the same time, thought is at the root of all diseases and afflictions. And when we look at the positively, thought is the key to all prosperities and attainments. That's why this proverb, which is based upon very profound wisdom, is as you think, so you become. And then there's another saying, you sow a thought and reap an action. You sow an action and reap a habit. And you sow a habit and reap a trait. You sow a trait and reap a character. You sow a character and reap a destiny. So that's why destiny started with a thought. According to the Vedic philosophy, the world is a projection of the cosmic mind. It exists as ideas and thoughts based upon cosmic illusion, Maya. It does not exist as a solid reality. We study that in our Upanishads. Individual mind is a wave in the cosmic mind. It is possible for an individual to allow his mind to tune itself with the cosmic mind. We can connect that. Mind by rising beyond the limitations. Those are limitations which are caused by ignorance and egoism. Egoism constricts us. We got to learn how to expand our vision. This is the perspective of a yogic movement. Yoga teaches us that. Clean it, expand it. Because when the mind is free from egoic attachments and desires, it communes with the cosmic mind. It treads the path of positive thinking and attains the supremely positive reality, which is Brahma or Absolute. What is the source of thought? Because there are countless thoughts keep on coming. You got to think about it. If something so powerful, where do they come from? Thoughts arise in human mind as waves rising in a lake. They rise and fall constantly. They give rise to diverse experiences of pleasure as well as pain. Remember, the ego thought is the nucleus of all mental thoughts. The deepest urge in a human being is to discover his essential nature as Satchidananda. But due to avidya or ignorance, the mind is unable to turn towards the source. It just moves along the outgoing processes of the senses and becomes involved in the world with all these multiple names and forms. When a seeker, a sadhak, learns the art of internalizing the mind, he discovers the secret source of the ego thought. Because that's the nucleus. All the thoughts arise from the ego. Me and mine. Mam and aham. See, I and mine. So expression of the glorious presence of the self within our own heart. And we just identify with this ego instead of reaching towards that real self. So it is identified with the fictitious center of ego. That's why I called it a nucleus. It's like a center. And the center is so strong. But when the mind is freed from these desires, it runs to its source of the self. The real I, not the fictitious I. The thoughts that lead to the discovery of the self are the highest form of positive thinking. So if we want to work on making our thoughts positive, turn towards the source, the real source, not the fictitious source. Anything which obstructs on this path, that is negative. Like pain, worries, stress, those are all negative thoughts. Thoughts that sustain devotion and wisdom, they are in highly positive in nature. They are thoughts, but they are positive because they arise from purified mind. Or you can say that they arise from the integrated personality, those kind of thoughts. So purified thoughts are termed as Sat-Kam. See, Kam is the desires. Sat means pure, pure desires. Or you can call it Sat Sankalp, pure resolve. They form the deep-rooted background of the mind in yogis, in the rishis, in the sages. Sat Sankalp, Sat Kam. Pure thoughts wing their way like the infallible arrows of Lord Ram. They cannot fail in their pursuit. They are backed up by the divine will, which is celebrated Dussehra yesterday. You all remember the image of Lord Ram. That beautiful form of Lord Ram carrying an inexhaustive quiver of abounding with infallible arrows. There's a symbolism in there. Who gave those arrows to him? He got it from his gurus. Symbolically, it portrays the purified mind, which continues to discharge infallible arrows of pure thoughts. So our thoughts are also like arrows. That's how we destroy the demon of duality, demon of ignorance with these positive thoughts. These pure thoughts abide in the inexhaustible quiver of the purified chitta. And we all have that chitta. So chitta is, the more we purify it, more purified thoughts will arise and more we will move towards our ultimate goal. Thoughts of goodwill, thoughts of compassion, thoughts of understanding, thought of spiritual love, harmony, those are all positive thoughts. They render the human personality sublime and divine. Thoughts that follow the dictates of clear conscience, based upon the principles of Yam and Niyam. The non-violence, truthfulness, purity, etc. You all know that. They are all positive. They are powerful aids in leading a person towards his inner spiritual resources. That's how important these thoughts are. Positive thoughts are like a fragrance emanating from a blooming flower. They give rise to a sense of spontaneity, relaxation, placidity of mind. And on top of it all, abundant joy. No matter what happens in the external world, you feel that joy, that bliss within you. Positive thoughts are the intrinsic attributes of the self. They are not developed on the basis of an outer reality. That means they are not conditioned, or they are not, the outer circumstances can be miserable, but still you can have positive thoughts inside. In other words, they are not dependent upon the outer circumstances or the developments. They are not artificial. Artificial things can change. They are very natural. Those are the positive thoughts. An aspirant must send out thoughts of goodwill towards all, should not hold a grudge against any being in this creation. What is the power of positive thoughts? Positive thoughts bring out the best in a human being. We all want to become best in whatever we do. Positive thoughts are the most powerful instruments in the hands of us. By the force of the positive thoughts, a person can transform his life completely. There's nothing in the world which cannot be realized by the power of positive thinking. So when you think positively, good karmas of your past begin to vibrate favorably. They are strengthened. They become your fructifying karmas. But when you retain negative thoughts, you are encouraging the negative karmas of your past to come forth. And that's what becomes the reality. So with the positive thoughts, you bring out the positivity. Your last thought at the time of death determines your next embodiment. That's what Lord Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita. So if the mind is positive at the time of the death, one attains liberation and is not born again. And every night we go into a small death when we sleep. That's why all the gurus, they say before you sleep, keep the positive thoughts. Because the kind of last thoughts you have before you sleep dictates what kind of a sleep you will have. So whether the deeper sleep at the end of this bodily existence or a shorter sleep every night we go into, keep your mind positive, at least at that time. When you get up also, bring your mind towards the positivity. Be thankful to Almighty. But remember that last thought does not arise by accident. You cannot have a negativity all your life and think that at the time of the death, or all day long negativity, keep on fighting with people, arguing with people, doing wrong things, and at night you think that you will have a positive thought. It doesn't work like that. A yogi, by constant practice of positive thinking in day-to-day life, hour-to-hour life, prepares the unconscious background of positive thought, which will never fail him. Many great men were born in miserable and poverty-stricken conditions. If you read the autobiographies of the great people, you will see that most of them were not born with a silver spoon in their mouth. They rose to great heights by force of positive thinking. Sage Valmiki was a robber in his earlier days. The Guru Narad, Maharishi Narad came into his life, and his whole life got changed with the positive thinking. Even the Adi Shankaracharya was born in a poor circumstances. Very poor Brahmin family. He became the most dynamic exponent of Vedantic philosophy. Positive thinking again. And there are many, many other examples, not only from India, but all over the world also. Look into it. Thought is the basis of action. So when the mind is filled with positive thoughts, our actions become highly qualitative and supremely effective. Remember that. A person of positive thoughts becomes a powerful performer of great actions. His actions promote harmony and goodwill in this world. He is remembered for centuries because of his good actions. A positive thought carries with a stamp of truth. So that's why the impact is infallible. But a negative thought is sustained by falsehood. It cannot endure the test of time. By the power of positive thoughts, a person can heal sickness, promote better conditions with good friends, remove hatred from the atmosphere, promote prosperity and success, achieve the glorious goal of human existence also. Whenever you enter a room, enter with positive thoughts. You will see the effect of that in the atmosphere and in the minds of other people also. On the other hand, the destructive effects of negative thoughts remember, the thought is intimately related to Pran Shakti, the vital force, and also the physical body. A negative thought of fear, hatred, grief, dejection, it disbalances our pranic movement in our personality. And what is the result of that? Disturbance in our chemical balance of the body. Various diseases develop in due course as a result of negative thinking. While a positive thought lights the face with joy and sends forth abundant vitality in the body, a negative thought sends out a chill over one's nervous system. Face looks painful. Eyes will be sunken. All the features get altered actually with the ugliness of negativity. That is the effect of the thoughts. Negative thoughts of violence, hatred, cruelty, jealousy, maliciousness, pride, falsehood, uncontrolled passions, and greed. What is the result of these negative thoughts? Destructiveness. And we know that this is the kind of a world we are living in right now. But still we can keep, we are in control, we should be in control of our own mind where the thoughts are. Every thought of violence turns back to the sender with a redoubled force. The negative thoughts that are directed to others will come back to the sender with a greater vehemence of negativity. So we got to be very, very careful of our thoughts. If a person does not learn the art of positive thinking, he continues to lose sight of the glorious possibilities that exist within himself or herself. Due to negative thinking, a person leads to weakness of various kinds. In fact, even the intellect becomes dull with the negative thinking. The qualities of our personality or the impressions of our mind, they are not always positive. or even the body itself fills up with the toxins, with the negative thoughts. Thoughts arising on the basis of afflictions are negative in nature. Afflictions. A yogi learns the art of destroying the afflictions. We learned about the afflictions in our Yoga Sutras. Remember those. Afflictions are avidya, asmita, rag, dvesh, abhinivesh. Those are all afflictions. Avidya is the ignorance, not knowing yourself. Asmita is the egoism. Rag is the attachment. Dvesh is the hatred. And abhinivesh is clinging to life. So negativity promotes all those afflictions. Negative thoughts are the cause of all that is inauspicious, ugly, dreadful, devastating in human existence. So that's why we got to learn how to combat all the negative thoughts with the positive thoughts. Let me give you a list of the things you can practice on a daily basis, because it's so much important for all of us to keep on working on our thoughts. Number one, good company. Good association will fill your unconscious with spiritual vibrations. This is a very powerful aid in thinking positively. Next one, study elevating works written by great sages and yogis of the world. You will see that how easily your mind will soar to the lofty heights of spiritual idealism. Just by reading, because you are putting in the positivity inside you, and you will feel that you are being heightened. I know that my Guruji has written quite a few books on yoga, and there is a scripture which is called Mahayog Divya Ramayana. When people read that, it's in Hindi, in poetry. I see people reading it, reciting it. The tears are rolling down from their eyes. Just by reading that poetry, they reach to that height of connection with the Absolute. That is the effect of the writings done by the great rishis and the yogis. So that's one way we can bring positivity. Learn the art of meditation on the self. You don't have to go anywhere. Just meditate on the self. Sure, you can learn the meditation on various objects according to your capacity and inclination. But practice of meditation fills your unconscious with harmonious vibrations. That's what it happens. Do not get confused with so many different ways. Choose one way and keep on doing it. Organize your thoughts. Do not spend all your time over the passing perceptions of the senses. Rather, devote some time every day towards the organizations of your thoughts. We pay more attention to organizing our closets and the drawers. Sure, do that also, but spend more time organizing the thoughts in your mind. Write it down regularly. You may compose a poem about your thoughts according to your own inclination, or you can draw something based upon your own thoughts. Another thing, never keep your mind idle and empty. You all know that empty mind is a devil's workshop, and that's very true. Practice truthfulness and possess a clear conscience. That means there should be a harmony in the thoughts, in the words, and in the deeds. You'll be able to hold powerful and positive thoughts that way. Otherwise, if you keep on lying, if the truthfulness is not in our mind, you say something to somebody and then keep on remembering whom I said what. That's not a clear conscience. Develop devotion to God. This is a secret of all positive thoughts. Learn to seek the root of I thought by spiritual inquiry and reflection. I thought means, who am I? This is the goal of all positive thoughts. I want to know who I am. Who is it which came into this body? See, just like if somebody comes into a house, we want to know who came. Who came over here? Who will leave from this body? That is the inquiry into the I thought. Thought of a Brahma, which is called a Brahmakar vritti, is the highest form of positive thinking. It leads a person to realization of the divine self within. Develop a sattvic background of thought by the regular practice of japa. Japa is a repetition of a mantra. It could be any mantra. You can do any prayers in any language. Or any place you can do it. That will bring positivity into your thoughts. Learn to promote good karmas in your life. Good karmas give rise to congenial circumstances and enable you to elevate your thoughts. So karmas are associated, you know that. We cannot just keep on doing bad karmas and think there will be positivity in our mind. Another key on this path is live a life of moderation. Follow the art of integral yoga in day-to-day life. When negative thoughts assail your mind, you should not fight with them. This will create tension and weaken your will. Remain a detached witness to the dark clouds of the mind, drifting in the sky of your consciousness. If you get agitated, why do I have negative thoughts? You will definitely increase the intensity of the darkness. But on the other hand, if you pay attention to the positivity at that time, those negativity will float away. When you do not give attention to your negative thoughts, they will subside automatically. The way the darkness of the night goes away as soon as the sun rises. Learn the art of pratipaksh bhavana. That's also a technical term. Rishi Patanjali gave it to us in Yoga Sutras. Adapting the mind to a contrary positive virtue. This practice has three aspects. First, to try to remain detached from a negative thought, such as hatred. Second, turn your mind towards the thought of love and understanding. Bring your mind to the examples of glorious personality of the past and the present. And third, when your mind begins to permit the light of a positive quality, such as a love, the darkness of the negative quality will vanish. That's how this pratipaksh bhavana works. The energy involved in a negative quality will be sublimated into a spiritual vision. Another thing you can do, learn the art of educating your unconscious day by day. Study of the scriptures, selfless service of humanity. But make sure it's a selfless service. Next week, I'm going to talk about this selfless. What does it really mean? We use the word selfless, but are we really understanding what selfless is? Replace the negative impressions of the mind with the positive impressions generated by the practice of yogsadhana. Learn the art of giving positive suggestions to yourself. We often give positive suggestions to others. It's very easy for us, but to yourself also. Instead of sustaining weak thoughts in your mind, give positive suggestions. For example, I am the architect of my own destiny. I have infinite resources of spirit within me. I am gaining more willpower day by day. I am experiencing peace and fulfillment. I am the master of my mind, intellect, and senses. I am abiding in God, who is all blissful. I am essentially Sat Chit Ananda, existence, knowledge, and bliss. I am the supremely free Atma, the self. Write them down, repeat them to yourself. Maybe before sleeping or when you get up. Become a collector of positive thoughts from the great scriptures, Upanishads, Gita, Ramayana. Every faith, every religion, they got great books. Read them. Allow your mind to linger on those thoughts. Just like a bee would linger on a blooming flower. Enjoy the nectar which comes from those words. Nourish your mind with the sublime sentiments and thoughts presented by these great sages of the world. Whatever interests you. If Gita does not speak to you, you can go to Bible, go to Quran, go to Guru Granth Sahib. Any religion, they are saying the same thing. But definitely draw the nectar from those great books. Learn important verses, devotional hymns by heart. Make a promise to yourself that before the end of this year, you will memorize at least 10 verses from the book which you love. Instead of remembering the negativity or other things, remember these verses. Fill your mind with the sweet melody of scriptures. When you're relaxing from day to day works, or even when you're doing the mundane work, you're walking outside or you're exercising, just keep on reciting those verses in your mind. Do not keep the mind running wild during the periods of rest and relaxation. Because body needs relaxation. Sure, you're resting the body on a chair, on a bed. Keep this positivity in your mind. That's what mind likes. Fill your mind with positive thoughts before you go to sleep. Very important. That's why I'm emphasizing this. Awaken the positive thoughts when you wake up early in the morning. Raise the level of your thought before taking food. That's why we always pray. Momentarily, just think about it. Those prayers are not only for Thanksgiving. Every day, whenever we eat something, remember God. Be prayerful while you take bath. Your unconscious is very receptive during these moments of your life. As you advance on the path of yoga, you begin to abide in the intuitional revelation of the self. Your mind continues to be overpowered by a radiant background of positivity arising out of divine. Vision at all times. How can darkness exist before the radiant sun? If I am the Atma, which is nothing but Paramatma, how can the negativity exist? Just think about it. By developing the art of positive thinking, you will enjoy the abundance of spiritual life. You will be led to the realization of the self, wherein all thoughts are transcended. And that is the goal of our existence. We should always remember that. Don't doubt it. It is doable. Because the minute we think that, no, I cannot do it, we are bringing the negativity again. So remember that it is doable, but following all this or some of these suggestions, we can create more and more positivity in our mind. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Om. Thank you very much.